see all this temptation we have in front of us right here?
And some of us were really good about resisting that temptation, Christy Larson.
Yeah, look at mine. None of mine on this side are open.
Oh, I see how we're going to play this game. Okay. All right. What's that in your mouth, Christy? Was that a lemon?
Nothing. Nothing's in there. In case you can't tell, we have Girl Scouts on our show coming up here in just a little bit. So it's going to be a very sweet time.
It's going to be a very sweet time. I love these. So we'll have some fun too. Maybe now we can do this, but love to know your thoughts. Go to our Facebook page. And what do you think is the most famous or most enjoyed Girl Scout cookie in our region?
Well,
don't tell them.
Well, I say the most famous Girl Scout cookie is the Thin Mint. Most famous, most popular.
Across the country.
But in our region, that's hard to pick because there's so many good ones. If I had to pick without knowing, because I know the answer to this, I probably would have picked the tag-alongs, the peanut butter chocolate, because people love like the Reese's peanut butter cup things.
I forgot all about those.
So that's the ones I probably would have picked. But the answer is not that.
No. Maybe we'll tell you at the end of this segment.
We'll let the girls tell you. We'll let the girls tell us when they come on.
Away.
What?
You just gave it away.
I'm touching all of them. I'm touching all of them.
Welcome to the show.
Lisa's over there like, I just want to eat some cookies. Let's do weather and eat cookies.
As you can tell, Girl Scouts here to talk about their famous cookies. We'll tell you more about that in a bit. Also, we're getting our aprons and making some bananas Foster cream brulee. Did you know that?
I'm
super excited
for
this.
I believe it's pronounced creme brulee.
Creme brulee. Also, a former lightweight world champion and Olympian is going to talk about an upcoming boxing event in Fargo. Are you going to put the mitts on today, Lars?
I'd hope not, because if she's in her tip-top shape for her, because isn't she fighting on Saturday, tomorrow?
I don't know.
Mariah?
But
I don't want to fight her when she's in her top shape. I can't take her on when she's not even in her worst shape, probably.
Yeah, no, you should just do it for fun. Let's see what happens. Let's get to our weather update because it is
I'm just going to open a couple more of these while you do weather, Lisa.
Go for it.
Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Today it is cold out there. Temperatures are way below zero, and wind chills have been even lower than that. Here's a look at our planner for today. We'll see those numbers climb above zero, but it's going to be a cold one here coming up in the forecast. So just be aware, a lot like yesterday, where conditions are going to be on the chilly side this morning and continuing into the afternoon. I do want to show you a photo we got from one of our viewers this morning about the temperature where she happens to be. This is in the Clearwater County, Minnesota area, and we'll get this loaded up. That was 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll go with 700. That sounds good right about now. But the temperature was 29 below, and that's in the Ebro area in Minnesota, and Verna Jean sent that to us. Just cold. That's the temperature, not even the wind chill. And we do have that advisory you see scrolling on the bottom of your screen there too, because wind chills are low. So let's look at our current wind chills. We are in the 20s and 30s below in parts of the valley, 37 below in Langdon, and 28 below in Grand Forks. 23 below your wind chill in Fargo. And here are your temperatures. This is actually better than where we were earlier on, because we were down into the 20s below in some spots. Now we're... She continues to open up.
I can't stop.
More and more boxes. Okay, so we're looking at temperatures that are in the teens below, 11 below in Fargo and in Grand Forks. Wind speeds are out of the west, up to 13 miles per hour. Man, that crinkling is quite loud.
Sorry.
That's okay. You're making me hungry. So we're looking at some clear skies in the valley, in the tri-state area. We are outside of that line of stormy weather. I do want to show you Chicago right now. They're under winter storm warning, and that's been ongoing for some time. So they're getting snow building up there, and that's going to affect anybody who needs to fly into that area today. So here in the valley, a lot quieter, of course, and we've got some areas of some low temperatures into the teens below still. As we get toward noon, we'll start to really improve. We'll see temperatures that are back into that 0-degree range, but we don't really warm up much from there to about 3 in Fargo and in Grand Forks again. And tonight, still quiet and cold. We've got one more frigid night ahead before we've got a little milder weather, but here's another great shot. This photo, I just love this picture. Look at that puppy. He or she looks so happy. I don't know if it's a boy or girl there, but still, regardless, that's a happy pup in Oakport Township out playing in the snow. Thanks, Sydney, for sharing that. And That might be the only one who's happy to be outside in this weather. Saturday and Sunday, we've got some teens on the way. And then next week, more of the same with a little bit of snow. And Valentine's Day, we might warm up to about 24 degrees if we can continue to see that milder stretch start to develop. So there's some relief. You know, we're not getting into super warm temperatures, but at least we can get out of this major cold that we're in right now.
What's the average for this time of year?
It's in the low 20s, getting into the mid 20s. Gosh. Yeah, so I mean, we're way below that. You know, a high of 2 yesterday. That was our high.
No wonder why it was so cold. That's why I need to eat more cookies to pack it on.
Exactly.
Can I crinkle now?
Go ahead. You could have done it the whole time.
I know. I was doing it the whole time, and then I got the evil look from Chris, like,
Lisa Green's such a pro.
You're picking out on cookies. I can't help it. If they're in front of me, I'm going to eat them. This is why I can't be around Girl Scout cookies, because I don't trust myself to only eat. You can't eat one. They come in like pairs.
They are
and they're
addicting.
So good. Thank you very much. Zone, KVLY, 6:30 p.m. It is a great, fun show. The stories, even last night, we had our first show last night talking about this 18-year-old young girl. She is a super duper speed skater, but she's from Ghana, now skating for obviously the United States. But can you imagine growing up in Ghana and you're like, yeah, I think I'm going to get into ice skating. You know?
It wasn't something they ever said that they dreamed of, but then they drove past an ice rink. And I mean, the stories are just incredible, just to get to see how these different people kind of got introduced to some of these different winter sports. And actually tonight, too, we're going to be talking with some people locally from our area who are actually going to be going out to Pyeongchang, who are going to go and observe the Olympics. Of course, there's a lot of great stories coming out from our area about different people with different connections to it. So
it was cool last night. Speaking
keep
of cookies,
eating.
they had like a master chef on last night talking about the great food in South Korea, and kind of giving you a lay of the land. And NBC just does a phenomenal job piecing that thing together. So join us tonight as we get you ready for the opening ceremonies, which I was talking to Isabel this morning. We're pretty excited to watch. It's always fun to watch what kind of show they put on there.
I think right now it's 12:07 in Pyeongchang. So it's already tomorrow in Pyeongchang.
Yeah, they already had the opening ceremonies, right?
But they're going to play them tonight for us.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
We want to give a big shout out to Dakota Medical Foundation and Pat Trainer and his crew over there for the 2018 Giving Hearts Day. 28,000 plus giving hearts here in our community, which is just astounding to see. It's phenomenal. And
Over
they raised
$13 million.
Yeah. Last year, I think it was 11 something. This year, $2 million more. So I think everybody should kind of just give themselves a golf clap, knowing that that came from our community. To do that is just astounding.
I think they were saying over the last years they have helped raise more than $52 million for local charities. And again, you think about it, when it started with just 38 local nonprofits, and then it's grown now to more than 400. And that also kind of shows you just how much our community has to offer for others.
Right.
I think that's the other side of the story, is what kind of resources we actually have here for other people.
This is a great story. So I'm sure you saw, I would assume maybe some of you saw yesterday in Philly, they had the big parade, which, by the way, I wish I would have sent this shot in. There was a great shot where they were out in front of kind of the Philly Capitol, and it's where I think they've got the Stallone statue.
Oh, because that's where Rocky did the stairs.
But what's cool is they had the crowd like all around, and there's these two little areas that are like wooded, and it looks like this heart-shaped thing in front of the City Hall, and like 700,000 plus people there. Obviously, Carson Wentz spoke. A bunch of people spoke there. One guy kind of stole the show. I don't remember his name, but he was talking about being the underdogs, and his voice was way deeper than mine. He's like, yeah, we're the underdogs. You get everyone fired up and like getting after it. So it was pretty great to watch him. So Carson does that, and then last night he ends up flying up to D.C. He replaced Vice President Mike Pence to be the keynote speaker. Yesterday was the National Day of Prayer Breakfast, so they always wrap it up with a nice dinner. So then Carson gets up in front of about, he spoke to 700,000 people in the morning, then there's about 2,000 people at the dinner, and his message was all about servant leadership. Here's a clip of what he had to say last night.
You want to learn something, naturally you go to Google. Naturally when you go to Google, it takes you to Wikipedia. And I know that goes against everything you've ever learned about Wikipedia, but I'm going to read what Wikipedia had to say about servant leadership because I think it was really spot on. I believe this one. It says servant leadership is not about power or gain or being in charge or being at the top. A servant leader shares power, puts the needs of others first, and helps people develop and perform as highly as possible. Some powerful servant leaders that I kind of listed were Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King Jr. They all did some amazing things, but they weren't out there to get praise or recognition. They just wanted to make the world a better place. They just wanted to make others around them better. Now let me challenge you and ask you, I'm challenging myself at the same time, do you seek that praise? Do you seek credit? Do you want to be at the top or to get that recognition for your position of leadership? In Colossians 1:10, the Bible says, am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ.
I just wish that I could have been there
Me
to
too.
listen to his whole speech and everyone's speeches out there.
So what do you think he did after that speech?
When he kissed his fiance.
I'm sure he did that, but I also heard that, you know, the guy just won the Super Bowl, had this big parade. You think he'd probably just go back home and chill out a bit. He flew down to Arkansas to go elk hunting.
That's what he did?
Yeah.
That's where he is now?
That's where he is now. So kudos, obviously, to Carson Wentz for, here's a great picture of Carson, his fiance. Congressman Kramer is the one that got Carson Wentz to show up at this event. And there's obviously Senator John Hoeven. But it was funny because I guess when Vice President Pence had to go to Korea, South Korea, someone walked up to Kramer and they were like, hey, can you even pull some strings here and get us a, you know, maybe a quarterback? And Kramer's like, what are you talking about, right? And so Carson prayed about it, and there he was last night.
I think it was it's kind of a big testimony to his faith right there. I mean, he's been very out and open about it the whole time, his whole career, even back when he was here in Fargo playing. And it just kind of shows now he's the keynote speaker.
Yeah, it's cool you say that. I forgot to mention this part. Apparently when he was talking to Congressman Kramer to work out the details and whatnot, he was very grateful because he says, you know what, Congressman, this is the first door that God's opened for me since I got hurt.
Wow.
So it's kind of like that first sort of thing. And
oh, that's sad to hear, but also, I mean, good.
But great,
but
yeah. I mean, to get up in front of, 2,000 people there, and if anybody right now could use some more faith in their lives, it's probably the people in Washington, D.C. So it's good to have
that came from Chrisberg.
I mean, hey, we're just keeping it real on a Friday, right? So, good for him to get up there and say, hey, guys, this isn't about you. This is about serving our country. And I think oftentimes you get in D.C. and you get caught up in your little own world. And so hopefully they took that to heart last night and can go out and use it today. And
yeah. I just can't wait to see what else he's able to do after this. I mean, he gets a break, which he's hunting, but I can't wait to see what he does until next season, what he kind of has in the works.
Keep him in your prayers too, because a lot of people are saying, he may not be ready by the first game next year. Now, obviously, it's Carson, you think he will be, but
I don't know. It's all about the recovery. Everyone's different. Hey, real quick before we wrap things up, I want to let people know this weekend you can drop your own line into a frozen hole to win some big prizes. The annual Poles and Holes Fishing Derby is happening this weekend in Detroit Lakes. It's all part of they also have the Polar Fest. They have the Ice Castle out there. But this Saturday, gates open at 9 a.m. And then the Fishing Derby begins at noon. And this is on the north side of Little Detroit Lakes. There's over $30,000 in prizes.
Wow.
And you can go and check out their website for more on the fun. And it's just this huge event that people are going to be going out to. And again, they have other things going on out there too. And you can see the whole family can go out there and enjoy their time together. I felt really bad because we were going to go out there for our morning show before I lost my voice. So I just wanted to make sure people knew about it because it's going to be super fun. And who doesn't love to go ice fishing on a winter lake in Minnesota?
Please wear many layers with the way the weather is right now.
You'll layer up. You'll be fine. Bring some hot cocoa out there. Bring some Girl Scout cookies. You'll be good to go.
All right, stay with us. When we come back, we are talking Girl Scout cookies, some delicious food, and much more. Stay with us.